From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On the News Hour tonight, Tribunal dismisses petition by Aisha Tudairu Binani, affirms election victory of Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintri. Vigilante group arrests kidnappers and bandits in Ardokola. Lagos State government reopens Alaba International Market and trade fair markets in the state. On the foreign scene, 32 killed in Kazakhstan's ArcelorMittal mine fire. Many thanks for joining us on the News Hour. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We start the bulletin in Adamawa State, where the Governorship Election Petition Tribunal has dismissed the petition by Aisha Tudairu Binani of the All Progressives Congress contesting the election of Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintri of the People's Democratic Party. The tribunal dismissed the case on the grounds that it failed to demonstrate non-compliance with the Electoral Act. Despite the unconstitutional proclamation by the suspended resident electoral commissioner Hudu Yunusa Ari that brought condemnation and public outrage, the Independent National Electoral Commission declared PDP's Fintri the winner of the March 18 exercise. The presiding judge, Justice Theodora Uloho, alongside Justice Musa Ramat and Justice Umar Abdul Nasir, said Udu's declaration is null and void. Reacting to the development, Governor Fintri welcomed the judgment, describing it as a confirmation of the will of the people of Adamawa State.
This is a victory for doing more. It is a victory for massive development for Adamawa State. It is a victory for exponential growth of our people. Above all, it is a victory that reaffirms the sovereignty of the will of the people over political blackmanship and an entitlement mentality. It is indeed a victory for democracy and the rule of law. There is time for everything under the sun. A time to strive and a time to unite. Indeed, politics is over. We have begun governance since May 2023. With this ruling, our hands are wide open. I call on all the litigants and everyone that has Adamawa at heart to set aside whatever misgiving and move on.
Staying with election matters, the Supreme Court's verdict, which upheld the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is still reverberating across the country as Nigerians express mixed reactions on the outcome. Now, the Apex Court ruling has received a mixed bag of commendations and criticisms in the court of public opinion, as legal experts, political observers, and average Nigerians share their thoughts on the process. Zainab Karai has more.
The legal battle for the presidency is finally over, following the Supreme Court ruling in favor of President Bola Tinubu. But for some, there are unanswered questions around the alignment of the judgment with the spirit of the law. Legal practitioners remain divided on the quality of the judgment and its impact on Nigeria's electoral process.
At the Supreme Court, which was the court of appeal in regard to the case, it was at that stage that they wanted to start bringing fresh evidence. If you bring fresh evidence at that stage of appeal, do you expect that the Supreme Court will just take your fresh evidence, which were mere allegations, without a trial on the issues?
It is one thing for you to allege a wrong in law, is entirely a different thing for you to prove it. Because the courts of law will not work with speculation, will not work with rumors. They work with hard evidence that is established before the court.
I think that largely depends on how you define the concept of justice. But as a matter of personal principle, I don't think the courts actually go out of their way to seek justice, to dish out justice. That's why they call it judgment. So what becomes justice in the floor of the court is not based on what you feel, because at the end of the day, justice is a feeling. So it's mostly largely based on what you can prove.
However, some people are not convinced that the Supreme Court served justice in its ruling.
Already, the people in the court were placed there by the present president. So going to the court with the judge that he has put in place cannot be able to work because the president is the superior.
It's not a new thing for Nigeria. Nigeria is not straightforward. Our judgment is not going to go straight as you need it.
There's never been a time in Nigeria where justice is always like it should always be the will of the people, not about the politicians.
Well, whether you reject or you don't reject, it has been said. That is the highest court of the land. So we have to accept it.
The coast is now clear for the Tinubu administration to implement its renewed hope agenda for Nigeria and Nigerians. Many hope this judgment will stimulate the government to bring about rapid growth and development of the country. Zainab Karai, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Staying with that verdict, the Lamidi Apapa-led faction of the Labour Party has hailed the Supreme Court's decision which upheld the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the February 25th presidential election. Spokesperson for the faction, Abayomi Arabambi, in a statement in Abuja on Saturday, congratulated President Tinubu and asked him to be magnanimous in victory. According to the party's leadership, it joined other Nigerians to congratulate the president on his victory at the Supreme Court as the legitimate president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He also appealed to all those who lost in the litigations, like the party candidate Peter Obi, to accept defeat and join hands with the current government to move Nigeria forward. Elsewhere, members of the vigilante group set up to fight against banditry and kidnapping across Taraba State have arrested suspected kidnappers and bandits in the rocks of Yoro Ardokola and Bali local government area of the state. After the arrest, the suspects were paraded at the palace of the Emir of Muri, Abbas Jidda Tafida. Here's the report.
The vigilante group effected the arrest while inspecting bushes around Ardokola, Bali, Yoro and Gasa local government areas as part of efforts to complement the government resolve to tackle kidnapping, robbery and banditry within their communities. The group also arrested a suspected thief who is accused of rustling people's cattle in the bush. The chairman of the vigilante group, Antala Adamu, said this is the second time the group is presenting arrested criminals in the Emir of Muri, adding that the first victim have all confessed to the crimes they were accused of and have been taken to the police station for further investigation. Adamu said they always report such incidents to the palace before the police because they were set by the traditional rulers, who will confirm the allegation first before taking them to the police station. The suspect, who admitted to committing the crimes they were accused of, added that they have not been long in the business. I only stole cattle, but I have never kidnapped anybody. I was involved in 2 kidnap operations where they succeeded in kidnapping 3 people and collected 4 million naira from the first person, another 3 million from the second person, and 2 million from the third person. This is my 3rd attempt. I don't know exactly the amount of money we collected from a particular person as a ransom. After the formal presentation at the Emir's palace, the case will be handed over to the police for further investigation.
In other developments, the comparative advantage of northern Nigeria in agriculture has not been fully unlocked due to insecurity, which in part is fueled by the unending violent conflict between farmers and pastoralists across the region. The involvement of security agents to restore law and order across volatile areas have failed to achieve its objectives, as many have been accused of fueling the fire, leading to more unrest across volatile communities. Musa Luka has more in this special report.
Wadata is a multilingual area in the capital of Benue State and home for many pastoralists. The pains of Ali Ibrahim flows through his words as he laments the unjust killing of his 16-year-old son by alleged military personnel.
Sun kama yaro. Na zo nan gari na tura masu kudi. 100,000. Sun ce da yamma za su kawo ma yaro ba su kawo mani ba.
To Ibrahim, their alleged extortionists are not unknown.
Soja ne.
soja ne. Amma kafin su yi mani haka ina haɗu da su a wadata ina ba su kuɗi don mu zama lafiya ne.
But Ibrahim is not the only victim of extortion.
Sojoji daga baya kuma suna zo suna kashe mu shanu a yanki wajen ne kuma. Daga kawai su samu shanu su kashe a daji.
Muna kawo mana yara muna ba su kuɗi suna karɓar hannunsu.
Ibrahim gave Trust TV the contact of the alleged military personnel who extorted them. Running a true-caller search on the phone number, the name Sergeant Shehu Osi Adaka came up. A military source verified Sergeant Shehu Adaka as a personnel of Operation Wild Stroke in Benue State. The operation was deployed to the state in 2018 to ensure peaceful coexistence. Trust TV contacted Sergeant Adaka via phone call, but he claimed he has been off duty since August 2022.
I have not any interference with them. The Fulanis are only secured and do what I'm asked to do. I don't have anything in common with them. I don't have anything in instruction with them. I don't stuff from Fulani.
This reporter, however, gathered from military sources that Sergeant Adaka has been in Adaka community of Benue State until June 2023.
But he left that location first week of June. When I saw the message, I called the man on. I called him, and he said there was nothing like that. But one, I wouldn't believe his word.
In Taraba State, the crisis between herders and farmers continued to spread across the hinterland. Victims point accusing fingers at the police.
They finished my beans farm last year at the flowery. They just brought in the animal.
You have an issue with the herder. It's better you allow him. When you take him to security, something that at least it will not be more than 2,000, 3,000, the security will now put it ahead, almost 500 plus.
However, the police public relations officer in Taraba State denies all allegations.
The command have not received any case or allegation. Any policeman have been alleged to collect any bribe or any money under any name, that claiming that is going to take side or favor any of these two conflicting parties.
The acting police public relations officer of Kaduna State Police Command, ASP Mansur Hassan, said Adeleken had been posted out of Zonkwa. He requested that all the complaints be made official.
Right now, one of the social factors responsible for Nigeria's out-of-school children crisis has been the practice of street begging, where minors are being used as guides to physical challenged persons. Now, this child labor practice is militating against the education of thousands of children across the country, especially in northern Nigeria. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail takes a look at the impact of the practice in Gombe State.
17-year-old Muhammad Falalu depends on this young boy to navigate along the streets of Gombe. The two Almajiris are not enrolled in any school for formal education, but Muhammad says his guide is not in school due to poverty.
For the past 5 years, he has been my guide. He is always available to assist and take me everywhere I want to go. He never declined my request.
Worried about the future of the human guides, Gombe residents have been searching for possible solutions.
This boy has a future. Has a future. Maybe he will be a counselor, a chairman, or a doctor, or a teacher in our society. Try to give him a chance to go to school. If he go to school, he may gain something to come and help you. Even if you are a blind, you think that if you take him to go to street and begging, so leave him to go to school.
There's a better future more than what you eat today. That's planning for their tomorrow. Okay? And this is supposed to be the responsibility of not only the government alone, but well-to-do individuals that, when you look at them, you have to feel what if you are the one. It's because they don't know. That's what they are doing. So if I will think, okay, what if I'm the one in their shoe? I'll behave the same thing. But I'm privileged to be educated and know the value of education.
Apart from those who guide the blind beggars, there are other millions of children roaming the streets despite government's effort to address the problem. Meanwhile, the Gombe state government has mopped up over 500,000 out-of-school children, including human guides for the blind. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
A 500-level student of the University of Benin has been reportedly shot dead inside the campus of the university in a renewed cold war between rival gangs in the institution. 3 other students who sustained various degrees of injuries during the attack have been taken to hospital for medical treatment. The incident reportedly happened Friday evening when the rampaging cult members stormed the anatomy department, killing their target before proceeding to the physical science and laboratory department. The victim, according to reports, was shot at close range, while the 3 others were shot while trying to escape. The incident caused panic among the students in the university and staff members as they scamper for safety. 73 persons have been arrested for allegedly violating the environmental sanitation law in Nasarawa State. The State Chief Prosecuting Officer on violation of the monthly sanitation exercise, Abubakar Muhammad, made this known while briefing journalists on the exercise in Lafia, the state capital. Abubakar Abdullah's report is presented from our studio.
Sanitation exercise is carried out statewide on a monthly basis in Nasarawa State to ensure that attention is given to cleaning and appropriate evacuation of refuse for a healthy community. During the exercise, government officials moved around the state to ensure public compliance with the state environmental sanitation law. Addressing journalists, the State Chief Prosecuting Officer, Abubakar Muhammad, said there is appreciable compliance across the state. He, however, said they apprehended 73 violators of the exercise in 6 out of the 13 local government areas of the state.
I will tell you none of the shop owners, even one. So the shop complies 100%. So it is this kind of people that have there are 9 in number only in Lafia. In Nasarawa, there are only 6.
Mohammed said an officer of authority was also arrested for favoring his relative.
So we call the attention of that person and here we call for him himself. It's tough, our staff, but before the court.
The Chief Prosecuting Officer, who said the attitude of the government officials amounted to mischief and insubordination, vowed that all offenders would face charges based on their offences before different mobile courts in the state. He called on the public to always adhere to the law governing all activities in the state.
And in Lagos State, the state government has reopened Alaba International Market and some other markets at the Trade Fair Complex Ojo on Saturday. The government had shut the markets down earlier due to improper waste management and other environmental infractions. The Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokumbo Wahab, says the markets were reopened after the environmental issues were addressed. Wahab dismissed claims in some quarters that political motives were behind the closure of the markets and stressed that the steps were taken to ensure a clean and healthy environment around business facilities across Lagos State. Commenting on the reopening of the markets, Managing Director of Lagos Waste Management Authority, Muyiwa Badegesing, said it worked with market officials to ensure the attainment of environmental standards. Nigeria's Senate President Godswill Akpabio has been elected into the Global Executive Committee of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, the first Nigerian lawmaker to clinch the position in 59 years. Senator Akpabio was elected on Friday at the IPU's 147th General Assembly in Luanda, Angola. The last time a Nigerian was elected into the Executive Committee of the Global Parliamentary Body was back in 1964. The IPU is the global organization of national parliaments founded in 1889 and dedicated to promoting peace through parliamentary diplomacy and dialogue. It has grown over its 135 years into a truly global organization with 179 countries as members out of the 193 countries in the world. Now, the IPU facilitates parliamentary diplomacy and empowers parliaments and parliamentarians to promote peace, democracy, and sustainable development around the world. A statement by the Special Advisor, Media and Communication to the Senate President, Anite Ekong, said Senator Akpabio was voted by delegates across the world to emerge as an executive committee member of the IPU with headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland, for a 3-year mandate. You're watching Trust News Hour. Coming up ahead after the break, we'll tell you about why Hoche is popular with residents in Zamfara. More on this and many other stories coming up ahead after the break.
As a demonstration of its commitment to provide sustained access to basic healthcare for all Nigerians, the federal government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, has established the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is designed to deploy operations fund directly to primary healthcare facilities in every political ward nationwide to ensure the availability of quality PHC services to all Nigerians, irrespective of where they live or work. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund guarantees 24 hours availability of midwives, other health workers, and health supplies in at least one PHC in every political ward. Ask from your local government health department for the BHCPF PHC in your ward to get more information and benefit from the services. Think access to healthcare for all. Think universal health coverage. Think Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. For further inquiries, call the NPHCDA toll-free number 7722 or visit www.nphcda.gov.ng.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty. It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to change central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast.
Number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation, and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify.
But there are people who say not spending money is not a virtue in itself.
Let me finish.
Because there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its higher horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for jam,
They want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago, you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Welcome back to the news, and thank you very much for staying with us. Here's a quick reminder of our top stories at this hour. Tribunal dismisses petition by Aisha Tudairu Binani, affirms the election of Fintri as governor of Adamawa State. Vigilante group arrest kidnappers and bandits in Arokola of Taraba State. Now, the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has unveiled plans to develop infrastructure across the state with a budget of 100 billion naira. Now, the governor made the pronouncement in Oshobo, saying 5 flyovers would be constructed in Oshobo, Ede, Ikuru, and Ife. Governor Adeleke says a 1-kilometer road would be constructed across each of the local government areas in the state. The governor says 95% of the project will be executed using local content to prevent capital flight.
We are poised to further boost the state economy as 95% of the project shall be executed by local content. Osun money will be spent in Osun. I repeat. Money will be spent in Osun.
Now, the Nigerian police has allayed fears and concerns by the public ahead of the November 11 governorship election in Nigeria. Now, the police announced plans to ensure a hitch-free exercise while addressing journalists ahead of a retreat scheduled for 30th October to 1st of November 2023. Trust TV's Ajibade Praise tells us more.
The first PRO is in the state ahead of the all-important event. Contrary to the fears by some political parties that the retreat will favor the ruling party and have some negative impact on the polity of the state, considering the forthcoming elections, ACP Olumuyiwa said the program is apolitical and will maintain such status just as it reflects the ethics and tenets of the force. He maintained that they are in the state for the well-being of all Nigerians, regardless of their political or religious affiliations.
We also extend our invitation to the youth, the press, and civil liberty organizations. It is essential to clarify that the Senior Police Officers Conference and Retreat is not a politically motivated event, and the police is committed to ensuring that all voices and perspectives are heard. As a session of the conference, we have political leaders and stakeholders for a discourse.
According to Adejobi, the Inspector General of Police in his wisdom had chosen Imo State again for the retreat, considering its peculiar security challenges, adding that efforts are in top gear to address such challenges.
The ability, commitment, and zeal of the Nigerian police force to discharge its duties towards the fulfillment of the present administration's mandate for economic recovery, social stability, and development in all spheres of country is crucial to our vision to bequeath to Nigerians a more secure environment for seamless, renewed hope in Nigeria.
The retreat is coming to the state for the second time in a row. The previous one was flagged off by former President Muhammadu Buhari in 2022. The 2023 edition will be flagged off and declared open by President Bola Tinubu, who will be visiting the state for the first time since he emerged the president of the country. Ajibade Praise, Trust TV News, Owerri.
Right, now, modern and traditional medicine have coexisted and competed for decades, with both providing cures for several diseases and ailments. In Benue State, there is some debate around which of the two offers more in terms of efficacy, as traditional medicine maintains relevance through cultural practices. Jimmy Azandi completes the story.
At the popular Wadata area of Makudi town lives Yakubu Adamu, a traditional medicine practitioner who says he has been in the business and in the same location since 1974.
Only Makodi there, you know this place. People, they come, they help this medicine, the native medicine, they do. When you come Makodi there in 1974, me now in the Makodi 48 year, in the Makodi there, now this work they do. When they go somewhere, different places. They get country, they go, not only in Nigeria, when they go.
He says herbs, shrubs and roots are the best because these are natural sources for medicines.
Native medicine no leave skin for person body. You get different chemicals the God will do with stick. Once stick you get chemically rich, come on 100. Now God you put. You get sickness, different sickness, all you get medicine, the God will do. Let him now him be demand medicine, the God will do. If person you get problem, you come there. I don't ask you my first one, you go tell me. Now something they worry you. I'm not telling me, me see you. You know the sickness they worry person.
To many, traditional medicine is effective and affordable at all times.
For this native one, look at the way our forefathers, let's say, look at the way they are old. Some of them 100, but look at this time around, look at this chemical they're giving us in the chemist, the hospital, nobody's even getting older again. Highest age you see a person of 75, see start carrying walking stick. But in olden days, in our forefathers, you see somebody living 100 years now, you can able to go to farm due to this medicine. So that's what is killing us. But now, we youth now, we are coming up now, we are knowing our traditional medicine now. It's better than all those medicine we are taking in the hospital now.
Here because when we are not feeling fine, we used to come to this place and take medicine. And the medicine is very good. Right from childhood, I've been coming here. Anytime I feel feverish, I just come and buy. If I take in the morning, take in the afternoon, take in the evening, I will be okay. Even if I go to the hospital, like typhoid fever, after treating you, they'll say, go and take the herbal one to make sure everything goes well.
There have been campaigns against the traditional medicine option because of its unscientific methods. But residents of Makodi who patronize traditional medicine say the option predates civilization, adding that their forefathers who depended on it lived longer, healthier, and stronger. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makodi.
Well, staying with cultural-related developments, inter-ethnic marriages have come a long way in Nigeria's history, creating bonds between communities with different practices. Despite the cultural differences, they usually present a challenge for couples. From traditional barriers to cultural misalignments, inter-ethnic marriages have become the panacea to Nigeria's dysfunctional social fabric of unity despite the downsides. Hamid Oyebade tells us more.
A marriage between spouses who belong to different ethnic groups is known as intertribal or interethnic marriage. While many say intertribal marriage as a way of promoting unity among people of different ethnic groups, some refrain from it due to the challenges that comes with reconciling certain differences among couples.
It's good to marry from other culture or tribe, being the fact that once you marry from another culture or tribe, it brings unity and love and unity.
Marrying from your tribe gives you more advantage. Let's talk on food now. It's quite easy now. Me now, I don't like Igbo food, I won't lie. So marrying an Igbo is like a disadvantage for me, or marrying an Hausa. They have some culture, some things they do that might not sit well with me.
Like me, as a Yoruba man, marrying an Igbo person now. So if their mother speaks more of the language where she comes from, how will my children be raised? Would that be in Yoruba or in Igbo, or we use the official language? So if they not go to my mom for an holiday, would that affect them? So for me, marrying the same tribe, I think is the best.
A marriage counselor, Timothy Agbo, said partners who married outside their ethnic groups must be ready to make sacrifices.
So I feel the acceptability outside where you're living from your own tribe, not taking wife from other parts of this, also help in making the nation to be one. It also promotes unity, it also promotes love, and making us also forget the horrible past.
Dealing with barriers in intertribal marriage requires the full commitment of partners to make it work. Amid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Interesting takes there. Now, hoche is a popular local snack made from maize paste as a fast food enjoyed by residents of Zamfara and some parts of Sokoto State. The local delicacy is considered by many households and as an everyday morning meal because of its flavorful taste. In this report, Yusho Adamu takes a look at how hoche is made and why it's so popular across communities.
Hoche is a simple fast food made from maize. It is eaten either with soup or with powdered groundnut cake, depending on the consumer's choice. Like gurasa, a Kano popular diet, hoche can be preserved for between 2 and 5 days, depending on how it was processed. If the quantity of potash added in the mixture of the ingredients is high, it can only last for 1 to 2 days. But if it is moderate, then it can be preserved for 5 days.
You will first have your maize, wash it and then grind it. After removing the unwanted component, you will mix half of the maize powder with yeast, potash and water and keep it in a warm place till next day. The following day, you will prepare telge with half of your maize powder and then pour the other half that kept in a warm place and mix them very well.
Unlike many other local trades, hoche does not require more hands to be processed. A woman can handle its processes from the beginning to the end without assistance from others.
I spent 30 years in the business of hoche. When I was young, I processed 7 measures of maize every day. Now I have retired and left the business to my children whom I trained. I have married off 9 of my daughters from the proceeds of this small business. Alhamdulillah, I have benefited a lot from this business.
The business of hoche is largely dominated by women who process and sell it from their matrimonial homes.
The business of hoche has done everything to me. We feed and dress ourselves with the little earnings from this business. We sell each loaf of hoche at 100 naira.
It was further observed that consumers of this local food cut across all ages and genders, as women, men, young and old, can eat this simple food whenever they desire to. It has become a norm in Bungudu town that every blessed day, children between the ages of 10 and 15 could be seen along major streets. However, despite the role this simple trade is playing in alleviating poverty and redundancy among women, no financial assistance is coming from the government to support the business. Yusho Adamu, Trust TV, Gusau.
Now, in the service industry, there are gender roles attached to certain jobs which have become mutually exclusive over the years. But society is changing now as skills and jobs have become unisex away from the traditional concepts of jobs for men and women. Now, men take on jobs that are predominantly done by women in the past and vice versa. Trust TV's Friday, Ebimobowe Peter reports on the changing landscape in Bayelsa.
The city of Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, a saloon owner John Prosper and the hairdresser Joel Jones said attending to female customers has become part of their daily routines, although they do have awkward moments.
We attending to female clients like every day. For me now, I take it as a professional job. You understand? But the most difficult thing for me is waking up in the morning, then coming to see different set of human beings, trying to make them satisfied and please them as well and stuff like that. You know, you don't mix business with pleasure. So as a businessman, you just have to be focused on the job. That's it. Yeah, most times it do leads to awkward moments because most clients they be having different impression and stuff like that. But whatever we do is more of us just working here and going back to meet our families because that's why we are working.
For discrimination, yes, it will always be there. But when you have self-confidence is the key. And you believe in yourself and the work you're doing. If you know what you're offering, there is no amount of discrimination that will make you shy away from what you're doing because you know your self-worth. Awkward moments doesn't end, but it is your ability and the way you handle it that matters. This is more like a public service. You're definitely going to encounter people that will not like your service or that will not appreciate your service or your service is not enough for them.
Some customers justify their preference for a particular gender when it comes to grooming their hair.
Everything now because they treat you well, they take care of your hair, everything. They pamper you as if you are their friend or their girlfriend because they put on their best in whatever they are doing. That's why they hire male artists or male hairdresser. I'm 100% comfortable when a male stylist work on my hair.
When a female stylist styles your hair, there's always this pain, I don't know, just always this envy and less care that comes. And for some weird reasons, I expect that women should understand that a fellow woman needs the comfort whilst doing these things. But a man sort of understands. It's more like he knows how to tell you sorry at the right time. He knows where to, he knows how to make you relax, if I do say so myself. So I think the male stylists are doing an absolute good job.
A check around the city centers reveals that quite a number of salons have females as barbers. From Yanagwa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News, Yanagwa.
And the world keeps changing. Well, you're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more news stories after this.
Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Adam's Kitchen on Trust TV. Try grating it. I am going to show you how to prepare a Singaporean chicken rice. Like this. Back here and get my carrots ready. Put in some amount of oil on the skin. I will now go ahead and take off the chicken, spread it to a desired shape.
It was never a consensus. We did all our best. You see, in politics, you give your contribution to the best of your ability.
If you want, I'll forward to you this statement. You go to this bank and verify.
But there are people who say not spending money is not a virtue in itself.
Let me finish.
Because there's so much to be done.
Let me finish. Now, you don't allow me to explain myself.
The recent development shows abductions are now a factor of informants embedded in community.
It's not about the people of Katsina to say that, no, during my administration I was able to stop insecurity. No, it's about collective responsibility for all of us.
And what we should ask ourselves is not what has been seen, is the life better? Are there more people who are unemployed who are not become employed? Is the level of corruption has gone down? Is there inclusion? All those issues.
We're actually a gas country with associated oil. Our focus has always been on oil, that we have never paid significant attention to gas.
To do it effectively, we need to have honest conversation with ourselves. Government needs to come down from its higher horse and communicate with the people and build trust.
There must be a solution. We cannot continue this way. They must come back to the table and agree. So whose child will do deny education? All these children that sit for them, they want to go to higher institutions.
But just a short while ago you were saying that why bring 10 children when you cannot cater for them? So why bring more universities when you cannot cater for the existing?
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty.
It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. The Naira is higher than dollar exchange rate. So you want to...
This central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast. Number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation, and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
Welcome back to the news. Now, the foreign exchange market ended the 5 trading days with the Naira closing stronger than the dollar, or rather against the dollar, after its poor performance over the past 5 days. Now, on day-to-day trading, the Naira appreciated by 5.68% as the dollar was quoted at 789 Naira 94 cent on Friday, compared to 837 Naira 49 kobo on Thursday at the Nigeria Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. The FX market recorded significant dollar flows from willing buyers and willing sellers. Consequently, the daily foreign exchange market turnover, which reflects the volume of transactions in the market, rose significantly by over 100% to $259.84 million on Friday from $113.22 million on Thursday. The local currency gained 8.39% as the dollar fell to 1,200 Naira on Friday, stronger than 1,310 Naira per dollar on Thursday at the parallel market, popularly called the black market. Now, at least 7,028 Palestinians, including 2,913 children, have been killed in the ongoing war in Gaza, while about 20,000 civilians have sustained various levels of injuries, with more than 1,500 missing under the rubbles. Now, the Palestinian ambassador to Nigeria, Abdullah Shawez, stated this in Kaduna on Friday after an interactive press conference. The report by Bello Musa.
Interacting with the media, clerics and other participants, Abdullah Abu Shawez said the death toll in the occupied West Bank alone has reached 104, adding that 900 people have sustained various levels of injuries, while 73 of the health workers were killed and 100 injured. Ambassador Shawez also said no fewer than 1,400,000 people have been displaced in the Gaza Strip, while more than 181,000 housing units were damaged by the aggression, including more than 27,781 housing units completely destroyed.
Some of the weapons used by Israel, the occupying power, melts the skin of the people, and it needs special treatment that is not found in Gaza. Surgical operations were performed without anesthesia, using the light of telephone, and wounded were treated on the floor of the corridor.
Earlier, cleric Ahmed Gumi, who described the war as an unfortunate humanitarian crisis, asked the United Nations to, as a matter of urgency, stop the invasion of Palestine and urged the Nigerian government to emulate India by providing aid to the victims.
It has become obligatory that we extend our hand of humanity and assistance to all innocently affected by the conflict and are deprived of such rights. We call on Nigeria as a nation to emulate what India has done.
This is a strong message to the people of the Western world that they truly stand for democracy, freedom, and justice. It should be demonstrated in support of the people of Palestine.
Religious leaders from both Muslim and Christian faiths present at the event called for unity among Nigerian Muslims and Christians, saying that the war between Israel and Palestine is not a religious one.
You will understand that the church is over there in Palestine, one of the oldest church. It is bombed. Christians in Palestinians are killed.
We should look at Palestine and find out that the population is more of Christians and Muslims than any other, and they live together, and they are being killed together and being made together by the aggressors.
So nobody has the right to take the life of any humanity. It's about humanity. And as long as it's about humanity, let everything be set aside. Because without humanity, all this will come around and go around.
Earlier, during a pre-sermon at Sultan Bello Mosque, with the Palestinian ambassador to Nigeria in attendance, Gumi called for the opening of the Nigeria-Niger border to ease the hardship faced by Nigerians and Nigerians. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
To developments on the international scene, a passenger bus slammed into a parked vehicle on a foggy Saturday morning on a highway linking the Egyptian capital Cairo and the Mediterranean city of Alexandria, killing at least 32 people, according to authorities. The multi-car pileup, which set some vehicles ablaze, left at least 63 other persons injured, according to the health ministry. Ambulances rushed to the scene of the crash on the Cairo-Alexandria Desert Road to transport the injured to nearby hospitals. Local media reported that the bus was on its way to Cairo when it hit the parked vehicle. Other cars slammed into the bus, with some catching fire. Footage circulating online shows many burned vehicles on the side of the road, with firefighters extinguishing the fire. To sports now. Eddie Nketiah scored his first Premier League hat-trick as Arsenal extended their unbeaten start to the season with victory over Sheffield United at the Emirates Stadium. The Gunners beat the Blades 5-0, climbing to the second spot on the table, 2 points behind North London rivals Tottenham. The Gunners are unbeaten in 19 home games against United in all competitions since 1971. Meanwhile, Jude Bellingham scored an incredible equalizer and a 92nd minute winner to help Real Madrid come from behind to beat rivals Barcelona on his first El Clasico appearance. Bellingham now has 14 goals in 16 matches for club and country this season. The Los Blancos win meant they move above Girona on goal difference at the top of the La Liga table and 4 points clear of third-placed Barcelona. Now, the Iyalode of Yorubaland, Alaba Lawson, has died at the age of 72. The business mogul and socialite who died on Saturday was the first female president of the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture. Media advisor to the deceased, Dimeji Kayode Adedeji, in a statement says Lawson died peacefully at her residence in Quarry area of Abeokuta in the early hours of Saturday. The statement indicated that her corpse has been deposited at a private mortuary. The statement added that the family will later announce burial arrangements, while a condolence register has been opened at the late Lawson's home and her private established schools located at Oke, Ilewo and Kotu area of Abeokuta, respectively. Meanwhile, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has expressed grief over the passing of Iyalode Alaba Lawson. The president, in a statement by a special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngilale, described Chief Lawson as an enterprising, courageous, astute, and distinguished businesswoman and leader. He said, quote, Lawson epitomized enterprise, brilliance, and ingenuity. She was the former president of the Nigeria Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines, and Agriculture. Well, that's all the bulletin for this hour. Thank you most kindly for joining us. Feel free, as always, to follow us across our social media platforms to get more content, and you can visit trusttv.com for the latest news. From the rest of the team, my name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for watching the news, and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.